How does economic theory differ from real-world application? Imagine trying to follow a perfect recipe in a busy kitchen. Sometimes the dish turns out just right, but other times, things don't go as planned. That's similar to how economic theory and real-world economies work. Let's explore this idea together. In economic theory, especially when comparing socialist economic models to other systems, the goal is clear. Socialist ideas focus on collective ownership of resources and planning to meet social needs. The theory says that if the government controls production and distribution, everyone's basic needs will be met fairly. It assumes that planners can gather all the information needed to make the best decisions. The idea is to eliminate inequality and create a society where resources are shared equally. But when we look at how these ideas play out in real economies, things get complicated. One big challenge is the lack of market prices. In capitalist systems, prices tell producers what people want and how much they are willing to pay. Without these signals, central planners might not know what to produce or how much. This can lead to shortages of some goods and excesses of others. For example, a planner might not realize that people need more medicine or fewer toys because they don't have real-time price signals to guide them. Another issue is innovation and efficiency. In theory, collective ownership should lead to rational use of resources. But without the profit motive and competition, there's less incentive for individuals or companies to improve products or find new ways to do things. Some socialist economies have grown quickly in the early stages, but maintaining that growth over time becomes difficult. Without competition, productivity can slow down, and economies may struggle to adapt to changing needs. Entrepreneurship is also affected. In market systems, entrepreneurs take risks to develop new products and meet unmet needs. They relying on prices and profits to guide their decisions. In socialist systems, production is planned centrally, which leaves less room for individual initiative. This can make the economy less responsive and slow to innovate. For example, if a new technology emerges, it might take longer for it to be adopted in a planned economy. Information flow is another big difference. Socialist theory imagines that planners can access all the necessary data to make perfect decisions. In reality, most of this information is decentralized. It exists in the minds of workers, local managers, and consumers. Central planners often don't have access to this knowledge or receive it too late. This mismatch can lead to decisions that don't match actual needs, causing waste or shortages. Some socialist thinkers suggest blending planning with market mechanisms. They propose allowing some goods to be traded at market prices while keeping key industries under government control. This approach tries to combine the best of both worlds. But it also creates new problems, like conflicts between market forces and government priorities, which can make managing the economy even more complicated. Supporters of socialism argue that despite these challenges, the goals are still worth pursuing. They point out that early socialist economies made progress in industrialization, education, and health. They believe that with better planning methods, more democratic decision-making, and technological advances, many of these practical issues could be solved. In the end, the main difference between economic theory and real-world application lies in the details. Theories often assume ideal conditions, but actual economies face unpredictable factors, limited information, and human behavior that can't always be controlled. Understanding this helps us see why economic systems, even with the best ideas, need constant adjustments to work well in practice.